Hi, thank you so much for tuning in to another Morgan James book launch. My name's Jim Howard. I'm the publisher for Morgan James Publishing, and today I'm really excited. We've got an amazing fiction author with us today, T.E. Price, and Tiffany is the author of Take Flight. And Take Flight is an incredible story, so very well written. And within Take Flight, readers are going to be able to follow Hallie McClain as she's faced with numerous fight or flight decisions in her attempt to escape her abusive husband. Tiffany, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Oh, great. No, thank you for having me. I'm excited to share a little bit more about Take Flight, this fictional plot line that delves into issues of domestic abuse, but hopefully with a bit of a positive spin, some hope inserted right there in the storyline. Yeah.
Well, and not to mention, it is an amazing story, the way it's told and the way it's put together. Readers are going to or read this and fall in love with the story. And as you said, find hope and encouragement along the way. So what inspired you to write this story?
Yeah, so the inspiration for Take Flight came from actually a dear friend of mine, someone who's very close to me. And I realized or came to realize that domestic abuse is pretty widespread, even in the church. And that was a shock to me. And it led me to do some research and consider where the church really played a role within domestic abuse and where the victims went in their mindset. Because it's such a nuanced topic and it's one that tends to get swept under the rug within the church. You don't bring your problems up. Let's all pretend like everything is good on the surface. And I wanted to address that taboo topic and really bring it forward through a fictional plot. And then through the research, I found that, yeah, it's widespread. Sadly enough, and there are several circumstances where I think that issue of submission gets twisted, and I wanted to address manipulation, control, victimization, and the storyline really delves into those issues that naturally surface with domestic abuse. So that's initially where my inspiration came, and it became a research topic, something that I was really interested in learning more about, and then wanting to know how to address it so that it was real and raw within a fictional plot, and bring that topic to light, hopefully for the church, for people in the church, for pastors in the church, and for those reading who may be dealing with similar circumstances at home.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's such a hard place to be when the place that you think you can find help and hope and comfort and security, we find that it's such a big topic within that community, right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in the plot, how does God and church fit into the storyline?
Yeah, so with Hallie, she starts off as this character who is unsure about herself, unsure about her faith, and unsure where the church really truly fits in the picture. Without giving too much away of the storyline, she grapples with this: should I share with my church? And if I do, how am I going to be seen? So what I wanted to do was hopefully bring to light positive ways in which a church can deal with issues of domestic abuse, how a church can come alongside a victim and really support the victim through that. And the book kind of sways between positives and negatives. So you see both aspects, maybe what to do and what not to do within the storyline. But then really working through issues of faith in Hallie's heart. It's a first person novel, so it delves into those issues and it's present tense. So what I wanted to do there was really help the readers walk through that storyline with the character as if they were in their shoes per se. But as Hallie kind of gets into that realm of, trying to discern, should I share this with the church? Should I keep it quiet? If everyone knows about my flaws and my mistakes, am I then tainted or painted in this light of we don't want to deal with that and we don't want to have to deal with your issues? So my hope was to highlight how the church can come alongside um, victims and support them in the midst of whatever decisions they are trying to make. And that really is varied across the board. And that's dependent on the circumstances. So I think initially I would definitely say the church should help the victim escape and find safety to whatever degree that looks like, and then find help to be able to recover and heal from the issue of domestic abuse, control, manipulation, and whether that means the ending is, separation for a time, even divorce, which is such a nuanced topic within the church. I think I wanted to address that and bring to light some issues that can easily be seen. But what I hope the readers will discover is that God actually is there walking through each and every hardship, and that isn't just, we go to God when we need help. He's actually there grieving with us as we are working through the difficulties in our life. And this first person novel really builds on that relationship with God, and that God isn't just, checking out, these are your problems, this is, whatever this might be, that he's right there in the midst of it, and that we can turn to him for help. And again, it's a broad spectrum, isn't it? Domestic abuse and violence within the home. But God isn't removed from that. He's right there with us, and we can turn to him in the midst of whatever difficulties we're facing, even domestic abuse. Yeah.
Amen. Amen. And when people are in a domestic abuse situation, they're tested at every they're tested to all extremes, right? Their faith, their identity at times, their safety, their trust, they're just stretched and tested. And when we lose faith, it's hard to find hope. And hope
Absolutely.
is so wrapped up in faith. And what hope is there for victims of domestic abuse, and how's that explored in the book?
Mm. Yeah, so Hallie does turn to family and friends to find some support in the midst of her hardships, of what she
Mm,
deals with, of the fight or flight issues that kind of vary throughout the book. But one thing that I think is important is that there are hotlines, there are ways in the local community to reach out, and I would advise anybody who is in a serious situation where their safety is compromised that they go get the help that they need. And what I would really hope and pray is that the church is available in the midst of that. And again, just circling back around to that topic, that God is not removed from those situations, that he's right there with the people who are dealing with them, and that he wants to meet us there in our pain and in our suffering, and that he wants to provide the hope and salvation that is needed, and really, again, that's a partnership with external sources as well. So get the help that you need. There are hotlines, and there are local organizations, broad organizations, but there is hope. So what I really wanted to do with this storyline was hopefully speak to women who are on that journey of determining, am I strong enough? Can I break free from this manipulation? Is this my life now? Am I stuck in this situation where I have no hope and no future? And the answer is no, you aren't stuck in that situation. There are avenues for help and assistance. Again, really hopeful that the church would easily and quickly step in to be able to provide assistance where it's needed. And Hallie begins the story where her strength really isn't fully developed.
mm,
And that's a very difficult kind of character to write, because women want strong characters. And to be fair, I think Hallie works through that, but I didn't want to paint this character in the light of, yep, she's got it all figured out. She's strong. She can do this, which she can. But is that really relevant? Is that prevalent in our society? And I think the answer is no. I think we need help. We need external sources to come alongside and really support and love the victim, because there's issues of re-victimization, especially as you delve into that. Am I going to share this? And as soon as I share this, am I going to be rejected? Is somebody going to say, no, that's a lie? Or is it really as bad as you think it is? And that is a huge fear. And
Yeah.
when you've got issues of shame associated with being the victim, which was a shock for me to find out in my research, that the victims were finding shame rather than the partners who were inflicting the pain and controlling and manipulating situations. So I think if you've got that issue, then it's very easy to go, I don't want to share this. There's a chance that I might be rejected. And that is a huge fear, that issue of re-victimization. So I wanted to share that storyline, have readers walk through Hallie's journey, see that she doesn't have all the strength that you would think that you would need in order to remove yourself from the situation, but that it is a journey of finding strength. It's a journey of finding hope through Christ. It's a journey of delving into church issues where the church isn't always perfect. We don't always get it right, but hopefully shedding light into areas where the church can get it right and come alongside the victim, love and support them, and that the victim can find help ultimately.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the one of the things that intrigued me most about this book and made me really excited is you tackle some very tough topics, some very hard to understand, hard to grasp topics. And unless you're in the situation, sometimes it's unrelatable. It's hard to relate to, but you wrap it in a story that, dare I say, is an enjoyable read. It's exciting, it's thrilling, but it also educates and encourages. And I think this book, for everyone out here watching us in this conversation right now, this book is not just for the person who's going through a situation. This book is really for anyone, because if you read this book, you cannot come away from this book and not have insight to understand what someone else might be going through. And that may be insight that you need to help someone in their journey, even if they're unaware that they need that help. But for the one going through it, there's encouragement, there's hope, and there's understanding. And you feel a sense of you're not alone. And I think that's the most important thing we could feel when we go through journeys like this. So, Tiffany, you've written an incredible book that touches on those topics and gives people that insight and that hope, and done it in a safe environment. People can read this book and not feel threatened because such a beautifully done book. And, no one around anyone reading this book would ever assume that someone's going through this journey while they're reading your book. And I think that was a powerful way to wrap this book.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was an interesting book to delve into, topic to delve into, and I hope I did it. I hope I did it in a way that makes it relatable to readers in across the board. So whether or not you're dealing, like you said, with issues of domestic abuse, or whether you're just, hopefully learning how better to serve people in your church.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you for that. And if people are watching this right now, maybe they have a copy of the book, or maybe they are waiting for their copy to come in, or they're running out right now and getting their copy, as they should.
Hopefully
Um,
so.
how can people connect with you outside the book to find out more?
Yeah, so if you go to my website, it's www.tiffanyeveprice.wordpress.com. You will find this cover well across the website, but you can really catch up on some blogs that I'm writing, but then also see ways in which the book is being promoted, and hopefully get some updates, about writing and about future projects, about past projects, and then there are links to my social media on my website as well. So those are great ways to keep in touch with me, and hopefully share a little bit about what you've learned through Take Flight, if you've taken the time to read it and delved into that storyline, that fictional plot of escape.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well, Tiffany, thank you for, one, just sharing your story and taking your time to do the research, to dig in, and to hopefully help someone on their journey. And I think that's what we all could strive to do. And you've done that very well with your book. And I'm excited to see what happens in lives as we start to roll this book out and get it into as many hands as possible. So thank you for taking the time today to talk with us.
Oh, thank you, Jim. I appreciate it.
And to all of you watching, again, this is such an amazing resource, one you will not regret. So I encourage you to go get your copy of the book. Anywhere books are sold, you can get a copy now, and reach out to Tiffany through her website, through her social media. Get connected. And more importantly, get connected in other people's lives, because this book can absolutely change lives, and you can as well. So we hope that you do that. And thank you for watching us today. We'll see you on our next one.
Thank you.